This is the Londonderry Town Council meeting for Monday, May 4th, 2026. Everyone please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up, we have a proclamation for the 57th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Mr. Combs.
Thank you. I have from the state of New Hampshire by Her Excellency Kelly A. Ayotte, Governor, a proclamation in the year of our Lord 2026, Municipal Clerks Week, May 3rd to May 9th of 2026. Whereas municipal clerks serve as the professional link between residents, local governing bodies, the government agencies at all levels. And whereas municipal clerks are entrusted with maintaining public records, administrating elections, and ensuring the transparency and integrity of local government. And whereas the work of municipal clerks demands accuracy, dedication, and a deep commitment to public service. Upon performed behind the scenes without widespread recognition, and whereas the citizens of New Hampshire rely on municipal clerks to safeguard the essential government process and to uphold the democratic values that form the foundation of our communities, and whereas through their dedication, professionalism, and commitment to service, municipal clerks help strengthen our communities and play a vital role in making New Hampshire the best state in the country. And whereas this week serves to recognize the vital contributions of municipal clerks and to extend our sincere appreciation for their outstanding service to New Hampshire's cities and towns. Now therefore, I, Kelly Ayotte, Governor of the state of New Hampshire, do hereby proclaim May 3rd to May 9th, 2026 as Municipal Clerks Week in the state of New Hampshire, and encourage all citizens to join me in honoring the dedication and professionalism of our municipal clerks. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our clerks that help us and serve us every day. Give them a round of applause.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Up next, Chief Kim Bernard has some new hires to introduce to us tonight.
Good evening, councilors. Bear with me as I try to get through this with my lousy voice. But here we are again, bringing before you two more new hires for the police department. I stand up here for the last 4 years, probably introducing over 25 employees that we have hired. Our mission is not over yet. I know Councilor Bouchard's asked me several times, where are we at? Sir, we're 3 away from being fully staffed for the first time since 2010.
Nice.
So we are getting there. Just for some intro, again, as I talk to you folks every time, we're constantly trying to recruit some of the best young officers that the state has to offer. Sometimes it doesn't work out for them. They're not able to pass our background. Somebody else hires them, but we've never lowered our standard. We've never wavered, because the men and women in this police department that serve you, you guys deserve the best. These two standing before you are 2 more of the best available law enforcement officers that the state of New Hampshire had available. They chose us. They chose us to finish their careers. Samantha, I'll introduce you in a minute. She's got a long ways to go. She's going to do it here. And what I said to them this morning carries weight. They are on the watch 24/7. Their actions, on duty and off duty, are a reflection of the Londonderry Police Department, this community. They will be judged. They will be criticized. They will be put in harm's way all the time. They will answer their call. And they will serve this community with dignity, with grace, and professionalism, always. What I told them they're going to get from us, they're going to get strong leadership that supports them, that appreciates them, that builds them up, that doesn't tear them down, that gives them the best training available to them, that supports them. I told them both, in the next 2 weeks in the hallway, they will pass me and they're going to say, Chief. And I say, they can call me Kim.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to come to me, you're going to realize these last several years you've been out there performing your duties, you were doing it wrong. And we're going to fix that. We have the best trainers available to make them the best cops in this community. I take pride in introducing to you folks these next two hires. Samantha LeMay. Samantha joins us after working full-time with the Nottingham Police Department. She brings leadership experience as a second lieutenant, as a logistics officer in the Army National Guard. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Homeland Security and has built a strong foundation in law enforcement, military service, where she has developed skills in leadership, professionalism, while performing effectively under pressure. Samantha resides in Raymond and is committed to serving this community with integrity, reliability, and dedication. We're confident that her experience, leadership, background, and character will make her another valuable addition to the police department to join this great team. Samantha. Next, we have Robert Akers. Robert comes to us with 15 years of combined law enforcement experience from the Sheriff's Department in Florida and here in Rockingham County. He too resides in Londonderry with his family, who are in the audience today to support him. He holds a bachelor's in science and criminal justice. He's been developed as a well-rounded professional, including certifications in background investigations, line supervisors, physical agility test coordinators, a taser instructor, and was a former member of the emergency response team. As I said, he does live in town. So, you know, when you're an officer and you live in town, as you recall, Dan, the people in your neighborhood love it. They love having you in the neighborhood. So your neighbors will soon see you and they'll know what you do for work. Yeah. We're confident that Robert's experience, professionalism, and character will make him a strong addition to the police department and to our culture as well. As I said to them this morning, one last tidbit. The reason why it works here is because we get the support from the community, and we've always had the support from our town councilors. Every single year, you guys step up and support the men and women of the police department. It's an easy job to do when we have the support from our community. So we're happy to have them join our team, and I'd like them to introduce themselves to you. So if you guys don't mind, please go from right to left, and don't forget the town manager at the end.
Thank you both. Up next, I'll open public comment. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. I'm well, thank you. Jonathan Kipp, 9 Everett Street. And I just wanted to, in my role as moderator, add my gratitude to our town clerk and everybody in her office. We work very closely together on the elections, and they do an outstanding job. And when I talk to other moderators and other town clerks, we have the best. And I just wanted to acknowledge that during this Clerks Week. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry, and your staff.
Yes. Thank you very much. Good evening, Dennis. How are you tonight?
Hey everybody, Dennis Martin, 182 Pillsbury Road, Londonderry, New Hampshire. First, before we get started, Kim asked me sometime, because I'm a former cop, he asked me if I would put an application in. I said, really? You're going to have a 67-year-old man out there running around after 18-year-old kids? I said, that ain't going to happen. No way. So anyways, you probably know why I'm all here. I'm here because of the tax credit that we didn't get last year. And I want to know if we're going to get it this year. And if
You
we're
will,
gonna
sir.
get reimbursed, are we going to get reimbursed for last year, which we should have gotten?
You will not be reimbursed, but you will get it this year.
And, okay, why didn't we get it last year?
That was a legal decision that we had
Based on what?
based on a legal review.
Sounds kind of, to be honest with you, sounds like we got a little stonewall. There's 105 veterans that were on that disabled list that did not get it last year. Okay? Somebody had to stop it. Somebody had to stop it. So was it the town manager or was it you guys? And if it is, give us the answer. Who stopped it? Okay. You know? So we're gonna get it this year, this June.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get it this June, July?
You will get it this year.
So it'll go in effect for the next tax. Okay? All righty. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Anybody else? Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Rich Belinsky, 89 Hall Road. Haven't been in here for a while. So I got a list of things. Back on 1-5, 1-12, and 2-2 meetings, I asked a series of questions that still haven't got answers to. One was what Dennis just brought up. It was voted by this council that on August 1st of last year, it was going to be, they were going to get their tax credit. You're saying there's a legal decision. If there's a legal decision, that should be put out for people to see what that decision is. I asked who made the decision not to follow the council vote. And I still want to know who made the decision, who's the person that made the decision not to follow the vote of the council. All right? Second thing, $131,000 in raises, pay adjustments, or whatever you want to call them. I asked which line items these came from and how much came from which line item. Still haven't been given an answer. That's public record. I want the answers. Police detail cars. Kim Bernard just did explain to me at one of the meetings how they rotate and put the older ones for the detail cards. That's fine, but that doesn't answer the question. During the budget process, it was said 1 to 4 cars are kept for details. What's the cost of keeping those? I don't believe we own any of our police cars, so they must have lease payments on them. Insurance, maintenance, so on and so forth. So we have 1, we have 4. Are we collecting enough to offset these cars? Is it costing the taxpayer money? Fourth one I asked, and we got an answer that to me is insufficient, was how the fire chief's pay scales got changed in the Leah contract. That was 1 day old, had been in effect 1 day when it got changed. That's, that has got a budgetary number to it. It was voted on in a warrant article, got changed. So what I want to know, I think there was 5 contracts on that, on the warrant that year. I wanted just a yes or no answer. Are the other contracts now being looked at and we're going to have more sidebars or more renegotiations that people don't know about? You wonder why people don't bother to come out and vote? Here's a reason. 5 contracts that were negotiated, agreed by all sides, voted on, all passed, and it gets changed on day 2. So I'd like the council to direct the town manager to have answers to these questions by a given date, because it's been months and we have no answers. All right? Next, and you can tell me when my 5's up, I'll do the rest at the end. The undesignated fund balance. Where are we with the bond level? I asked that at deliberative session. We were pretty close to getting to the point where if we spent any more out of that, we were going to it could start impacting our bond rating. So I want to know what happened with where we are with that. Next one is IT. And this is going to sound like it's against the clerk's office, but it's not. This is an IT problem. On March 19th, there were notices sent out to people having car registrations due in April that their registrations, their renewals will be sent out the first week of April. They were never sent out, and we're in May. All right? So you're putting in a new system. I understand that. There was no backup, no way of backing this up when they didn't go out, so people got their registrations and knew they had to renew their cars. I've talked to people who forgot about it because they're used to getting them. I've been in town over 40 years. That's the way it's always been done. So didn't we just hire somebody in IT for all kinds of money and this is what happens? Yeah, when you put in a new system, you usually have some type of backup system or plan or something. So those didn't go out. That's a problem. South Fire Department. So I guess we had a catastrophic problem down there, and from what I hear, it was a hot water heater. Is the hot water heater not in a containment pan, so if it leaks, it goes into a drain? Or is it just sitting on the floor, so if that's what happened, because that's what I've heard, why did we have a catastrophic leak down there? Why wasn't it contained? Where am I on my 5 minutes?
14 seconds.
All right, well, I'll leave those. I'll hit the rest at the end. I want some answers to these. You people have to, as a board, have to start putting dates on when these answers are due to the public. I shouldn't have to come back here since January asking for answers that should have been given back in January. All right?
Thank you, Richard. Good evening, sir.
Hi, I'm John Farrell, 4 Hancock Drive. So over the last several years, I've had the privilege of attending a number of different events and parties that after people graduate from the police academy. I also have some Manchester police officers that live in the neighborhood and very well connected through the entire police community. So listening to the chief earlier tonight just compelled me to come up and talk a little bit about what, I've been told. You go to these events after people graduate from the police academy and they find out you're from Londonderry and they go, I really wish I could have got there. And, you talk to the guys from Manchester and the gals from Manchester and they sit there and they go, we can't even get anybody to apply. We're turning people away, and this is the premier department in the state. It all started with Joe Ryan coming in and just changing things from Chief Banyan. And then, Chief Hart taking it from there. And now Chief Bernard taking it to the next level with that great presentation we just saw recently about Kalia. There's 5 basic things to get right in the town. Have a great police department that responds. Have a great fire department that responds with the best equipment and the best trained thing to save people in an aging community. Have a great public works department. Can you find a pothole here after the winter? They're few and far between. They go out there, they do that, they plow the roads. But what they do is the mission of the 5,000 people across the street and up and down, in North and South School. Those employees and those children, they make sure they're safe. All of our first responders work in that way and everything. And then you just got to take out the trash and do the recycling and plow the roads. Those are the core competencies of the community. Seems like we do a lot of other things around, policies, plans, and everything else, but I don't ever hear us talk about the core policies of the community, except when they come in here and talk about it. It's something you guys ought to talk about and ought to be damn proud of our police chief and what he and his organization has built. People come here to spend their careers and work here because of them, not because of us, because of them. And we ought to be damn proud of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in public comment? Good evening, Sherry. How are you?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for recognizing our department. Alice and I are very proud of our team. They're amazing, and it means a lot to be here tonight in the proclamation. And we have a couple lunches coming, which we're very grateful for too. So makes it very special for us. Just a couple things. So on this Saturday, the day before Mother's Day, we'll be having our 5th annual rabies clinic. April is the final month to register your dogs in the state of New Hampshire, but May is a grace period, so there's no extra fines if people get in by the end of May to register their dogs. So thanks to a lot of great people, Dr. Myrna, her staff, our police department, complete support. We'll be holding it this Saturday, 9 o'clock. The doors will be open if anyone needs to register their dog still. Maybe they don't need the rabies vaccination. At 10 a.m. we'll start actually giving out the vaccinations, and then you can still register your dog between 10 and 1 o'clock. So we've opened it up to other communities too, so that we can help out as many people as possible. But if you all can help us spread the word, that would be great. And Kirsten, thank you for our very colorful, happy flyer. We appreciate it again, 5 years in a row. So thank you so much. And then the last thing is, elections are just around the corner. They're big this year. They're always big. We have the state primary, the state general. If you can help us to spread the word, and this is a notice that came down from our Secretary of State's office, June 2nd is a very important day. Up between now and June 2nd, people can still change their party affiliation. You're a Republican, you want to become a Democrat or an undeclared. You're a Democrat, undeclared, or Republican. After June 2nd, no matter how much we think the world of someone, no matter how many times you voted, you cannot change your party, and you will have to be the party that you were registered as of June 2nd. And it's a very difficult thing because the primary's not until September 8th. And you've got the summer in between, and people will forget. In every election, right, Jonathan? I mean, we can't stress it enough. People will be in tears because we'll say, oh, you have to take this ballot or that ballot. Only undeclared voters get to pick. So if you can help us to stress that, our Secretary of State's office is doing it throughout the state. We're trying to scream it from the mountains. I know it's been in the paper. So we need everyone's help on this because it's just such an unfortunate thing when that happens. So that's it. But again, thank you so much. We really appreciate all of you and what
Thank
you
you. We
do to
appreciate
support
you.
our office
What
too.
you guys do.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Anyone else in public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Up next, we have boards and appointments and reappointments.
Richard's questions?
What is it?
Richard's questions?
Sure.
I mean, do we want to request answers for them, or?
Yeah, he actually, Richard, the town manager did say he would give you a call or email you those answers to those questions.
All right, email. I don't
Yep.
want to call. I want something that's public record.
Yep. Thank you for running that. I will accept a motion for Megan Thomas, who is resigning from the Heritage Commission.
So moved.
A motion from Sean,
Second.
second from Ted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative, 5-0. Megan, thank you for your service. We appreciate it. And if anybody wants to be on the Heritage Commission, please let us know because now we have an opening. Up next is new business. We're going to get a presentation from the Arts Council and all the good things you guys do.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Stephen Lee, 10 Darrow Way. I'm here with my wife, Julie, and Larry Casey and Steph Miller, members of the Londonderry Arts Council, and they work on the Concerts on the Common. So just to give you an update of where we're at for this coming summer. At the heart of everything we do is our mission, and that's community, great music, and summer evenings. That's really what these concerts are about, bringing people together. This will be our 24th season, which is really kind of amazing to think about. 2.5 decades of neighbors gathering on the common, kids running around in the bubbles, families sharing dinner, and folks reconnecting with each other. It has really become a community tradition. But we really don't do it alone. We're supported by a whole network of community partners, the town, the school district, police, fire, DPW, the alert team, local churches, our vendors and exhibitors, and of course we have a wonderful group of volunteers. It really takes the whole community to make these the concerts happen. One thing that we're especially proud of is the accessibility of the concerts. These concerts give individuals and families, including those who might not have the means to attend commercial venues, the chance to enjoy exceptional live music in a beautiful setting, as long as we're not in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
We estimate that the comparable show at the Tupelo or the Palace is, on average, doing some research, it's about $40 a ticket. So over a 12-concert season, that's roughly $1,700 of value for a family of 4. And it's here, it's free, and that's a community investment. That's the truest sense of that. We continue to grow our online community as well. Our website is concertsonthecommon.org, but most of our engagement happens on Facebook and Instagram, and we use the account at Concerts on the Common. We're now over 3,600 followers, and it's still climbing. We also added a new page to the website with historical concert schedules and links to photos from almost every past concert. It's a great way to see how the series has evolved and also how the community has grown with it. If you go to some of the early ones, you'll see if we had 25 people there, we were lucky. This summer, we have a fantastic lineup. We're kicking off the things big on June 3rd with the LHS Jazz Ensembles and Orchestra, like we always do. This is the last concert of for the seniors, so it's special for them and it's special for us. The following week, we host the Seven Wonders, which is a really talented and popular Fleetwood Mac tribute band. They'll be new for us this year, and it kind of all evolves around some of the voices, which are very unique to Fleetwood Mac, and I think that they do a really good job with that. The next week we have Martin and Kelly. It's kind of our country night. They've been with us for many years. These guys are just fantastic, incredible players. And then we go to the Brian Mace Band. Brian's, again, has played for us for many, many years. His wife just has an incredible voice, and as does he, and his band is just wonderful. They do a lot of classic rock. This year they're going to do a special set of The Who. The following week we have a new band for us called Bywater Call, and these guys are going to be just phenomenal. We've seen a bunch of live YouTube videos, which is kind of how we can vet people nowadays, looking at them playing live, and every performer, they solo and they're just awesome. They're really good.
Out of Toronto.
And they're out of Toronto, yeah. The next one we can't announce just yet because of they'll be playing in the area in the near future, and so once they play in the area at a ticketed venue, we'll be able to announce them. But it's going to be awesome. Julie and I checked them out live. Saturday, July 11th, we have the collaboration with Leach Library again, Concerts on the Common for Kids. This year we have Matt Heaton and playing with the Outside Toys, and that should be a lot of fun. This will be our third year, and it's been a big hit the last 2 years. Something on a Saturday in the afternoon when the kids are not so sleepy and running around. The following week we have Cool Cool Cool. They played for us for the first time last year, and they're just awesome. Really good band. A very hip kind of house stuff. A lot of fun. The following week we have East Coast Soul, which is R&B, soul music, and it's a 10-piece band, full horn section, 3 lead singers, and really great. The following week we have Bruce Marshall. He's back. I don't know, this is his 13th or 14th year. Really good. He used to play with Toy Caldwell of the Marshall Tucker Band. Thank you. Incredible musicianship. The following week we have Delta Generators. Brian Templeton, who is the frontman for him, he was in the very first Concerts on the Common. That was Brian Templeton. If you go to that website on our that webpage on our website, you'll see photos of him from 2003. But again, phenomenal players. The last week we have Studio 2, which is a Beatles tribute band. They played for us they always close the season for us for the past several years, and they're really good. They play only Beatles songs that the Beatles actually played live. They don't do any Sgt. Pepper stuff, anything like that. And you can see from the photo they dress up and everything. They're very, very good.
Okay, so my turn. As Stephen said, the Concerts on the Common is really about building community. One of our goals every year is to create moments where people can participate but not just watch. So we're bringing back the free line dancing lessons before Martin and Kelly, and they're on June 17th. So we have a designated time. We've done this the last 2 years, and it's been a huge hit. So we're doing that again this year. And But the other thing I wanted to mention, as many of you know, we lost a very most beloved community member last September, Joe Curro. Joe and his son Vinny were are fixtures basically on the Common every Wednesday. Joe would, Vinny would tell us how Joe, whenever the snow melted on the Common, he would say to Vinny, "It's almost time for concerts," and he looked forward to it every week. He'll be sorely missed, but in honor of Joe, the Arts Council has decided to dedicate this entire season to Joe's memory. So our volunteers, also a huge part of our of the community spirit. And thanks to Greater New Hampshire restaurants, they've donated gift cards enough so that for anyone who volunteers for 4 concerts throughout the season, you get a $25 gift card that you can use at Cactus Jack, T-Bones. So we really appreciate their support on that. We also greatly appreciate the volunteers from Alert. Their involvement helps ensure safety for all when crossing the streets before and after concerts. They've made such a huge difference. And just having lights toward the end of the season, having lights on those crosswalks, huge help. Food-wise, foods and treats. They're always a big part of the concerts. We've had a change this year. One Happy Clam has retired, and we really appreciate Rick and Sue, and we wish them the best in their retirement. They've been wonderful partners. But we're excited to welcome a new food truck, Wicked Tasty, and also Timeless Treats is returning with ice cream for the kids, and Hunter and Damien are back with Kernels for College, popcorn, and lemonade stand. Again, community supporting community. And one last thing, weekly raffles. That's always another huge draw to Concerts in the Common. So our free weekly raffle, they'll continue. Many of our prizes come from concert attendees. We're so thankful for folks that bring us gift cards to give away. Also grateful to Stonyfield Organic Yogurt, and SD Country Store is also donating a gift card for every concert, so 12 concerts altogether. Again, we couldn't do this without them, and we really appreciate all of the support that the community gives us.
Okay, so down to the numbers, budget overview. On the financial side, our budget this year is about $38,500. That's slightly less than last year. We continue to fund the Old Home Day Concert Band, which we took on in 2019. For funding sources, about 22% of our funding comes from the town and 78% from local businesses and family sponsors. That sponsor support is a true reflection of the community pride in these concerts. As you know, the State Council on the Arts was essentially shut down, so we didn't receive the Arts for Community Engagement grant this year as we'd had the past several years. The town generously stepped up to cover that gap, though, and we sincerely appreciate that. But I'm very happy to report that thanks to Larry's guidance, who is an incredible fundraiser guide, and strong community support, we raised nearly, we got 2 more sponsors today. So we're over $30,000, and that's about $10,000 more than last year. And we did so because we were able to do this. We do not need the additional town funds. But we hope to use them next year for our 25th, where maybe we'll try to do some extra special concerts. So far, again, I had to change this number. I had to scratch it out and update it. We have 47 sponsors this year, up from 44 last year. And we're looking for a few more. It's wonderful to see that level of community involvement. And in our printed program, we're highlighting how long each sponsor has supported the concerts. It's because of their commitment that it's a big part of why the series continues to thrive. So you can see some of the diamond level sponsors on the screen there.
And that's a new level for us this year, diamond level. It's $600 more than our previous top level, which was platinum. So these folks have really stepped up.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. And then the next slide is the platinum sponsors, and we have a lot of those again this year, and we really appreciate that. So, I know. Any questions?
Any questions?
I just wanna say thank you. And I remember 23 years ago sitting on the library steps and saying to Brian Farmer, "Oh, I wish we had these concerts." And he had just gotten on the council, and he then talked to Elaine Farmer, who was big into the art council back then. And I remember that whole thing, and I remember pushing to get people to get there. And it was a struggle, but look where you guys have come.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just a conversation on the front steps of the library, the Leach Library, that turned into what it is today. And it's truly amazing. You've done a great job.
Well, thank you. But it's a community effort.
Yeah,
For
just
sure.
fun. Oh, and Elaine's back, so that's kind of
Yeah.
That's right.
Any other questions?
Just want to say, looking forward to another great season for you guys.
Yeah, it should
It'll
be a lot of
wonderful,
fun
and
concerts.
hopefully, the weather gods hold out again for you as they did last year, except for the end of the year.
Yeah.
Made it all the way through the last concert. Though.
Yeah.
Don't remind us, please.
Yeah.
It's,
That was nasty.
nightmares.
I just want to thank you both for what you do, and thank Larry for what you guys do. It's really appreciated by this town. We really, really, really appreciate everything you do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for
Thank you.
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
definitely. Thank you.
Up next, we have a special presentation from the library director. Donna, yeah, I see her. Yep. Good evening. Hey.
Good evening. Thank you for having me at the last moment here. I'm here to give you a brief update on the library, but also to review a document that I sent over to you all this afternoon. That is a estimate for additional funding that is required to finish out the remediation work at the library, mold remediation, and as in addition to that, the exterior envelope consultant found 2 leaks in the roof when they did testing that do need to be repaired. So these are, we kind of brought forward, or Town Manager Mulholland and I agreed that these were the really significant items we needed to take care of right away in order to obviously get the library back open. I do want to share that the timeline for reopening has changed a little bit, where we had a little bit of a delay with the contract. The contract is signed now, but there was some delay in the going back and forth with legal counsel. So the estimate right now is that we are likely going to be closed through the summer. However, the library is still planning to do its full summer reading. And tomorrow we are putting out a press release that will share all the information regarding what's still happening over the summer. So we're still excited to present all of that to the community, as per usual. The document, I know you didn't have a lot of time to look it over because we just got it this afternoon, but the amount that we're talking for this evening is $94,518. And I can go over that in more detail if you'd like as well.
If you would, please, just
Sure.
since it just came out, just again, and you didn't get to see it.
Yeah, so there's really 4 scope items that are covered in that. The major one is the remediation work that we did know was coming. This is based off of the more extensive mold testing report. These are all the recommendations that were made by the vendor that did the testing for us, Indoor Doctor. So they do correlate specifically to those recommendations, and that work, just for the remediation, is $45,902. One of the items that was recommended by Indoor Doctor was to complete the flooring, or replacing the flooring in the staff break room, which is on the lower level of the building. The reason why this room was picked out is because it's the only room in the lower level that is carpeted, and they flagged it as a potential reason for the carpeting to hold on to moisture, where the lower level is the area that's concerned for humidity. So that, just to get that flooring taken care of, it will be changed over to a vinyl tile flooring that's much easier for maintenance as well. That total estimate is $3,631. And then the other 2 scope items are related to the 2 leaks that were found during the roof testing. Just to explain what testing happened, the envelope consultant was on site with REARC. They actually put water on the roof, like about 2 to 3 inches of water on the roof to try to find leaks. And we're actually trying to find the entryway leak that has been a hassle for many years now. That testing did not, unfortunately, find the cause of the entryway leak, but it did find these other 2 leaks that we did not know about. They were both in the vicinity of the front entryway. And I do in the if you'd like to see, I think I forwarded you the envelope report already, but on that report you can actually see photos of the areas that they're talking about. So those 2 leaks, one of them, it has a cost estimate of $21,630, and the other one is $23,355. And the majority of the work there is related to the roofing, being like the flashing being redone. And I believe when we spoke to REARC earlier today, they described it as literally being able to see the sky when you look through those spots, which is not a good thing, obviously. So that's why I'm here presenting those to you tonight.
Any questions for Donna?
No, thank you for your presentation.
I do have a question for either of you. Where does it put us now with, we got a better insurance settlement, but now we have more expenses? Are we still near the figure where we want it to be, or where are we at right now with the overall number?
So we're at 272 is what has been authorized by the council.
Yep.
And then you've got $323,000 in insurance reimbursements, but they're not exactly apples to apples.
Right.
She can explain that. Donna can explain that to you. So that's what your present balance sheet is, and now you've got these items. And there's obviously the phase 2 work that needs to occur, and there's more envelope work that needs to occur. We had a meeting on that today, and those numbers we've asked them to go back and relook at some of those numbers, and they've got to be. We can reduce some of the general conditions time because some of those things will be done at the same time. So we're waiting for that report to come back. But you're looking at around $1 million worth of HVAC replacement. Yep. As I told you, that was going to be expensive. And then you're also looking at probably another $500,000 in envelope work, building envelope work, if those 3 reports that you've seen. So it's an expensive proposition to deal with these issues.
That's what happens when you don't maintain your buildings properly.
Any other questions? All right, so what you need from us tonight is just authorization to spend the 93.
$94,518.
Is this on a timeline where we need to do it tonight? I just don't know if we have time to look it over. That's part of just getting it today.
That's fine.
So
I'm not sure. Is it on a timeline?
Is there
Well,
a time?
you got holes in the roof?
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. So this takes care of the holes aspect of it, yeah.
I wouldn't wait too long on that if I were you.
Okay.
Probably going to rain again?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I can speak a little to that too. That REARC did share that they're working still with EnviroVantage as the mold remediation vendor, and they were able to fit us in within the next 2 to 3 weeks if we're able to move forward tonight.
Any questions? Anybody feel anything?
No, I'm good.
All right.
It needs to be done.
I need a motion. What was the exact amount of money, just for the record?
$94,518.
So I'll make a motion to approve $94,518.
I have a motion from Sean,
Second.
a second from Ted. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Oh. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. 5-0. Thank you. Did you want to say something, Nancy? Yeah. Before the vote or after?
No, I didn't want to interrupt. I'm sorry. And thank you for hearing
No,
me.
yeah.
So we know that this is a big ticket item. We get that. And this is an ongoing project, and we get that too. None of us ever thought that we would be here. We know that this building has been a challenge for quite some time. It's shocking that this is where we are. It's saddening. We're just, beside ourselves that we're not even going to be in our building for summer program. But there's not one of us on the board that is not grateful for your support and your help in terms of getting this project done. So I know these numbers are shocking and high, and you gasp when you look at them. Donna told me this afternoon. I went, what?
Yeah.
But here we are, and thank you for your continued support. That was all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Very
Mr.
well.
Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Up next, we have a presentation on the Special Water Assessment District. Kirsten.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So we wanted to come before you with the plan for creating the Water Special Assessment District that was approved by the voters, the funding for which was approved by the voters in the March election, before we came forward with the whole petition, to give you a chance to figure out what questions you wanted to ask, if there was any additional information you wanted to know, and just keep you updated on the timeline of the process. So very quickly, just to get everybody on the same page, I want to cover the definition of what a special assessment district is, the process for formation, the geography of this first one, and the timeline that we're looking at. So a special assessment district is the authorities granted under state law, and it says that, without reading this directly, it basically says that a group can petition the council in order to form a group to ask for a public improvement to be made. And potable water falls firmly within that public improvement. And the town, in that case, has the ability to borrow, expend money, issue bonds, notes, and other obligations of indebtedness to do this. Improvements must I hate saying this word, peculiarly and specially benefit the district. So it can't be something that's townwide. You can't form a special assessment district that's all of Londonderry. And then the assessment, yeah, go ahead.
So when we form a special assessment district, is it specified to a special assessment water district, or is it just a general special assessment district that anything can?
That is a great question. It does have to be linked to an improvement plan, the draft of which is almost ready to go to our legal counsel to look over. So it does have to be for a very specifically defined purpose. To give you an idea, that document is currently 16 pages. So, it is very narrowly defined. And so you can't go back and do other improvements in it.
This would be for water specifically.
For water specifically, and for the specific addresses and the specific geography to which it was outlined. And you have to follow the improvement plan. So it's very, very narrowly defined. And then any benefit has to be leveraged proportionately to the benefit received. So you should be charged based on your benefit. So that is why for these, if you take advantage of the special assessment program and request funding to connect your home, you are then responsible for 100% of those costs. If you do not connect your home, if you do not use this funding, you will not be charged anything. You will not be assessed anything. The assessments will only go to the people who choose to connect the curb stop to their home. And so this is kind of an overview of it. The special assessment district funding will cover the construction costs to connect a home to a curb stop, also called a service, after the resident applies for any other available funding. So if they're eligible for the state rebate, they must apply for that first. Question, Deb?
Yeah, because it's the money thing.
Yep.
So say 5 years from now, the contaminated spectrum moves a little bit further. Will at any time we be able to expand to other addresses that are under this contamination?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
that's what I was trying to figure out. Okay.
To keep this focused around the people who are recently getting these new water lines, who are now having their first opportunity to connect in some of the most contaminated areas, we're creating the district around those new water lines first.
Right.
In the future, you could form additional districts or amend the district.
You can amend it. Okay.
Yes, the district must be revisited by the council every 3 years by statute anyway, so you can amend the size at that time, or you can amend it lawfully at a different time by following the same procedure as formation.
Right. So so it's not done. It's
No,
it's
and you can create
continual.
other ones too.
Right. But I'm just talking about this specific one. I get it.
Absolutely,
Thank
yeah.
you very much for the clarification.
You're welcome. And so they have to apply for any other available funding. And the way it's written is that they have to apply for the DES rebate if they're eligible for that, and any other state or federal funding that might become available in the future for them before they apply for the money from this fund. They need a written estimate from a contractor. They will pay an administrative fee based on the length of the assessment, and we're currently proposing the assessment of they be able to choose from a term of 2 to 15 years. There is no interest. They pay the administrative fee up front, and that's to cover the cost of administering this program. The cost of the connection is paid back via property taxes over that fixed assessment period of time. So it will be billed biannually with property taxes, and it will carry the same failure to pay carries the same consequences as failure to pay your property taxes, including late fees and liens. It will not cover the cost of water company charges, fees for inspection, permitting, connection. It only covers the cost of the construction, getting those pipes in the ground, and related construction costs. And so this is how the assessment district is formed. So it needs to be initiated by a petition to a governing body. So we are going to work with the residents to form this district, to encourage formation. So when you get the petition in front of you, you need to have a map, an improvement plan, the one I mentioned before, which again, it's going to be, it has an executive summary, don't worry. And then it needs to also have a budget and fee structure in there, which clearly indicates in this case that if you take an assessment out against your house, you're responsible for 100% of that assessment. If you do not choose to take advantage of this program, you are responsible for $0. You do not have an assessment. I cannot stress that enough.
And just so everyone knows, it stays with the property. If you sell it,
yes,
it stays with the property, not with the homeowner.
Yeah. And then that's between the buyer and the seller. The
Right.
buyer and the seller can negotiate paying it off,
Right.
and there's no prepayment penalty.
Right.
Nothing like that. But yes, it can stay as a condition of sale. You can make a condition of sale that it stays with the property. This petition, when we go out to get signatures, is going to need to be signed by at least half of the lots, representing 65% of the valuation. And I'm going to, at tomorrow's Utilities Committee meeting, we're going to speak to them about helping with that face-to-face, showing up to information sessions, basically informal conversations where people can come ask questions.
Kirsten?
Yep.
How does this work with the vote that we had in the spring then? Thought we had established this at the...
The voters established designated funding for a special assessment district. So there's two parts to making it. You make it and you fund it.
Oh.
So this has
okay.
created the funding available, but there needs to be a petition to outline the actual boundaries and borders of the district.
Gotcha.
So when that petition comes in front of the council has the opportunity to shrink the district if you want, but you can't make it bigger without going out to petition again. This is more significant in special assessment districts where the value is apportioned and people don't have an exact say in how much money they take out, but the legal requirement is still the same for us. So you'll receive the petition. We have to mail a notice of hearing to all properties in the district. The town council will hold a hearing on the improvement plan, and then hopefully you approve the district based on that. So the initial geography of this district, and there has been one change since this went in the agenda packet. So we're going to approach all the homes with a new water line extension and curb stop that we anticipate will be operational by the end of the 2026 construction season. So these are lines that will be charged, finished, ready to go at the end of this year. This is the first time these people will have had an opportunity to connect to municipal water. And that's why we're starting with these homes. So High Range Road, as you can see on here, all the homes on the east side that have the new water line by them, and the ones on the west side that aren't going to be given a water line by St. Gobain. Parmenter Road, Old Nashua Road from the intersection of Parmenter East to 102. That's going to be completed this summer as well. And South Road from South School to about 32 South Road, where the line goes into Old Country Village through the woods. We originally had Old Dairy Road on this because we thought that would be finished this construction season, but it will not. It will be finished, that line will be operational after the construction of the pump station at the Auburn Road landfill. And so that's not going to be available to connect to till 2027. So that's something we'll look at next year.
And residents can sign the petition and not take advantage of it, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
just so they know. So
Yep, and we have a FAQ. Denise Manella from the Public Works Department. She is one of the people who's going to be predominantly administering this, and she's worked hard on coming up with an application and FAQs. And so they'll go out with the initial letter when we are talking to people about it, and it clearly states that there's actually one on there that says, well, if I'm not going to take advantage of it, why would I sign the petition? And the reason is it won't cost you anything, but it will help your neighbors.
Right.
It really is a community-based thing, and
Exactly.
we're asking the community to kind of step up for their neighbors, because we all know there are some houses that are 10 feet from the curb, right?
Yep.
Or maybe not 10, that doesn't fit setbacks, but you know what I mean. And then there's those houses that are on the top of the winding driveways with solid granite all the way up, right? Those are two very different experiences of connecting to water, even if they're next door to each other and they have the same contamination. So what we're trying to do is help everybody get to it. That first house might not even need to, it might be under the threshold of even being worth using this funding. It might not even cost them the whole DES rebate. The other one, that's going to be a substantial lift. So again, this gives you an idea of the total number of eligible properties in this first wave. If we take out Old Dairy Road, we're looking at 179 estimated properties. The reason I say estimated is still need to double check where there's vacant lots in there, what addresses may actually be businesses, and those are not eligible this first round. It's about connecting residences. So there's going to be another fine-tooth comb before we send this out, but we're looking roughly around 180 people that we're going to approach.
So we basically need 90 to make that 50%.
Yeah, we need 90 people to sign representing 65% of value. So those are some of the more significant. Now, the other thing is, though, is just because a property's in the district and it is business or residential, it wouldn't be. I need to actually ask legal's advice on whether they could sign the petition or not. So that's nitty gritty, though. That's really getting down to the details. Timeline. So we had a kickoff meeting with the staff last month, and we've been working on the improvement plan and the application materials, bringing us to today. The update here and tomorrow's discussion with the Utilities Committee. We're hoping to get those letters out the beginning of next week. And that gives us a few weeks to gather signatures, hold information sessions, chat with people. That will likely go into early June simply because of what everybody knows as May-tember to anybody with kids or families. You know, May, it's like December without the presents. So, you know, give it another week or so after that. So we'd look to be approaching you on June 15th to set a public hearing, to accept the petition and set the public hearing, provided we get the signatures by then. Obviously, if we don't get the signatures by then, this timeline would be extended. And then promptly after the meeting, we'd send out the letters informing everybody of the date of the public hearing. We need 30 days between that by statute. So then the public hearing would be in July on the Special Assessment District and hopefully approved at that point in time. We would then be able to open up applications in August. Now, the initial, we have no idea how many people will apply for this, right? It could be 6. It could be 120. We don't know. So the initial designation of $400,000 approved by the warrant article, in order to make it as equitable as possible, we're suggesting an initial 60-day application period for the very first round. So people will submit their applications, and the criteria that the council approved, TC 104, about the water criteria, that will be used to basically go through those applications and place them in an order of initial priority. If it uses up all the funds, then the rest of them will go on a wait list for as more funds become available, either as it's paid back through taxes or as the voters or the council can find additional funds for this program. After that initial application period, our suggestion is that it goes on a first come, first served model, and that we can accept applications as they come in, and as they get, the money becomes available for funding, they get funded. And then after one round of applications, and this is not something anybody's really done before, this is new, so we don't have a basis for comparison, but after the first round, we will have a good basis of comparison to make future projections. And so based on those projections, we'll know what would need to happen in order to make this program a long-term viable one where we could introduce and expand these districts. So that is the goal. And then if you guys have any other questions.
Any questions?
I
Yes.
just one more.
Go ahead.
So I know you're not, there's probably not a lot of businesses, but there probably are a few. And I understand we don't want to be a bank to a business, but why wouldn't we ask them to sign the petition?
I just need to look into if they're not, if we're saying they wouldn't be
I mean, they
eligible for.
might sign on to the pipe on their own,
Yes,
but
absolutely. And there's nothing keeping them from doing that.
Right.
I just want to make sure that if we're just not, and this is why I want to just run it by legal counsel, if we're saying they're not eligible and we want to make sure they could still sign. You know, for example, there's a big one in that area, which is Sunnycrest, right? So I want to make sure that it's legally okay. Again,
and I'm
crossing
thinking,
Ts,
they
dotting
got
Is.
people going to their establishment, having clean drinking water is a plus.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just think that would be really good to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the questions that is on the list for
Okay.
asking counsel. Yep.
All right,
Okay,
thank
go
you.
So, doing these connections, all right, from the curb stop to the home, do they get their own contractor, or do we
Yes.
have?
Nope.
No, we don't have anybody.
So this is a reimbursement program.
Okay.
So they will go out, get their estimate. They will submit their estimate with their testing results to the town in the application form. And once the work has been completed and inspected and is ready to go, they can submit their invoice and their inspection report, and then they'll get their reimbursement. So the town is taking no part, and I promised Dave Wally I would stress this to the utmost degree. The town is not doing the work, maintaining the work, responsible for the work. It is simply an assessment to help fund the improvement. So it is simply a financial mechanism. The town will not be involved in any other part of that.
Thank you.
I guess to lead off what Dan had there, do we at least want to recommend companies for people to reach out to? Because some of these homeowners may not even know who to reach out to do this work.
The suggestion for those folks is going to be reach out to Pennachuck Water.
Okay.
And they will, if Pennachuck will be able to guide them with recommendations for that. That way we don't put ourselves in a position of recommending companies or potentially taking on any sort of liability at all, even to the tiniest degree. Pennachuck is an expert at this. They know they're going to be the ones who are going to be inspecting the lines. So they would be able to recommend contractors. Of course, there may be some people on these routes who want to do it themselves, in which case they can submit receipts for materials and equipment rentals, but not labor. We don't pay people for working on their own property.
And then I have another question. You had said that this would be paid back through your taxes. Would there be a mechanism that people can pay this back monthly if they wanted to?
We do not want to set that up because then that creating a whole new administrative kind of system.
The answer is people can pay their taxes anytime they want.
Yeah,
So-
but we're not creating a different system for it.
Right. So right now, if you want to pay your taxes on a more frequent basis, you can do that. There's nothing
Okay.
that prohibits that. So
But we will bill it twice a year like we bill all the other taxes. So it will behave exactly like that.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Oh, one other question. I don't remember where we left off on this was, are we going to be charging any interest on this money that we're borrowing out to people, or are we leaving this at a 0%?
So we're suggesting no interest, but an administrative fee. That is a base fee for joining the program and then a charge basically per year of assessment. So as you all know, we need to, but for the public's benefit, any fee that needs to be charged by the town has to be linked to costs. And so upfront, there'll be a charge for administration, paperwork, review. So that's the fixed fee for everybody who would participate. And then an annual charge for each year of assessment, which would cover the cost of having, the tax collector and Public Works having to work on the assessment each year, on the warrant each year. So that way the cost is directly linked to the labor that goes in. But it would be it would be administrative fee charged up front. They would pay that. And then they would pay it. There would be no interest on the amount itself.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
May I just ask one last thing? Is there anything that you need to know, that you would need to know or would like to know in more detail besides the legal factor of who can sign the petition? Is there anything that you would like to know before you see this petition come before you?
Anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, y'all know where to find me if that changes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Up next, under old business, we have discuss and schedule a public hearing for municipal code, chapter 20, code of ethics.
Oh man, I have to keep talking. All right. Okay, so the code of ethics. This originally came before you back in the late summer, early spring. Then, if I could find the actual sheet,
July
I would.
21st,
Thank you, see.
2025.
And then we came before you with the draft that was created from feedback from the public. And we came for you on the October 20th meeting. You all discussed the revisions and the suggestions of the public and decided which ones to move forward with and which ones to not move forward with. And then we went back to the public, back to staff, put it back out there for comment. We put it on the website. We got no additional feedback after that. So the draft you see before you is the exact same one that was presented to you and that you decided on at the October 20th, 2025 meeting. So we would ask that you, the ask today is if you would like to set a public hearing for it on May 18th and move forward.
I'll start off. Okay. I have some proposed changes for the council to discuss that I've been reviewing for the last year, I'd say. So I'd like to go through a few things. If section 20.10, I would suggest we remove that. I don't think it's necessary.
Wait a minute.
I'll go through my changes and we can discuss them.
So
And
you
then-
want to eliminate this whole section?
Yes.
20.10?
And then under 20.11, section 3, I don't see a need for it. People could just call a point of order. I don't see a need for that section. On section 20.8, I think our old policy is actually better and more descriptive than the new one. So 20.9, I would recommend that we put section 4 back in from the old policy. And the one other change I would make is on section 20.12 to remove section C. Oh, and I wanted to discuss with the council about the old policy had exclusions that were left off of this policy and see if they would include the exclusions from the old policy. Here's some things for discussion.
Well, I personally think that this code of ethics is pretty fair and balanced. It protects everyone equally, residents, staff, and elected officials. I understand it's a draft. I feel that the draft has real strengths, including clear expectations and more modern structure. Where I do see some problems down the road is if we don't tighten up some of the language by adding clear definitions, outlining a transparent investigation process, ensuring an appeals path, and also aligning the language with the New Hampshire Municipal Association's best practices. I think if we do that, we'll end up with a strong, fair, and protective code that the community could trust. So I'm focusing in on the New Hampshire Municipal Association's best practices as well as national best practices standards. And I see a lot of it in here. I just think definitions need to be a little bit clearer so that there's no confusion. But that's just me.
Yeah. Do you have
Overall, I thought this was very equal, like for everybody.
Do you have any
I didn't have a chance
reference?
to
No,
read through
any references we can look at for the municipal association? Just for the
You
fee.
guys can all just call, and you can just also in the search button.
No, I just didn't know
do
what.
Code of
the-
ethics.
Yeah.
I just wrote
Okay.
a little paragraph for myself.
Okay.
I have it at home, but I don't have it here.
Okay.
I will say the one issue I have with just pulling from framework sometimes is you lose the specificity of what is unique to this community and what it needs to go through. So especially with national standards, and then when you get down to something even statewide, I think we've got to be careful about not just wholesale adopting.
I find that funny, Sean. I appreciate it, but I find it funny because when I said that on the PUD stuff, you said we needed wide brush and we shouldn't be going by the standards. We should be more loosey-goosey when everybody else in national and state standards are tighter. You were like, no, we need to be more open and putting it into a dress. So I'm confused as
I don't remember the specifics of that conversation.
Okay, well,
so.
we had it. I'm here. And as a matter of fact, I have the answers to your questions that you said I was illegal and stuff. I got all the correct answers and cites for you. But I think that you have to have some sort of basis. You're not the first one inventing a wheel. It's like Goodrich tires, they're not the first one to invent the tire. They look at it, they approve upon it, and I thought that's what we did. I mean, you think differently. I haven't looked at what you said to cross-examine it, so I can't answer your questions, Ron.
That's okay.
But I appreciate the fact that you looked at it. I just looked at it as a general piece.
I spent more time than I spent a long time on this document, but because I think it's very important for us. I think it's something that we need. I think it's very, very
agree.
important.
But it also needs to be very fair and very balanced, because it's not just us officials we're talking about.
Absolutely.
It's, the employees, it's people on boards and committees, and they're volunteers. They're not getting paid, so I think we have to be careful and inclusive of all of that. So that's why I said the only problem I see that this could become a problem is with the lack of definitions.
Okay.
And I figured I'd get into that after the public hearing, but.
Okay.
But I would hope that you could share your comments that you just had, Ron, in a document so that I could look at the ones you were talking about.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
I didn't
Absolutely.
write it down.
And email it to us.
I'd be happy.
I was trying to scroll up and down, but if you could say, and if you have suggestions, like I know you said take this out, but but fix it, or the old one you said that was better, so that it's all together. I'm sure you have it.
I do. Happy to share that. I thought some of the old policy, especially in section 4 of the old policy, I thought it was more descriptive and had a better definition than what the new one has.
And
so
off my top of my head,
I'd be very happy. I have 5 changes. I'd be very happy to email them all to you.
Well, you
guys.
should email them to all of us.
That's everybody,
that,
yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
No problem with that.
Thank you.
Any other changes or anything we want to discuss?
No, I thought your changes made a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed good to me. It addressed the issues that I had with it, and just reading through the old document too, I thought especially section 4, and I did like the form attached. But other than that, I think.
So should we push back the public hearing so we can? No, still have the public hearing. Okay, I'm just.
Yeah,
okay.
have a public
Because
I'll
you can
email
still
this to you
change it
tomorrow,
during the public hearing.
and
Yeah,
then we can still
because-
hear from the public, and then we can.
I haven't seen it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, if you could send yours too, your ideas, that's good too to see.
Okay.
It really is. It helps me see where you're coming from and what you're talking about. I mean, I'll send out my word descriptions as well. They're not much, so.
No?
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Anybody else have any updates or suggestions?
Mr. Chair, if I may, if you
Yeah, please.
could send those over, if you would like them in writing and in a final format for it, we can also put those, much like we did with the strategic plan this week, and the suggested changes, we can have them in a way that would be
Can I
able
come
to
see
be
you?
presented. Yeah,
How's
if you
that?
can send it to Tanya and I,
Yeah.
that would be wonderful.
That'd be perfect. You can be more eloquent than I can be. Thank you. We're going to continue the discussion on the plan unit development. Any
Well,
update?
just back up, so
Oh,
we're
sorry.
not doing the public hearing on the 18th, obviously.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think-
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to make substantial changes to it, and we're not going to give advance warning to people what those are going to be? The rewritten version of it? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of that.
My suggestion,
All right.
just make it indeterminate, because I don't know if we're
Okay.
going to get to it.
Then let's do that then. Let's.
Yeah.
So if
He suggested making it indeterminate, so you don't need to look at the calendar for
Right,
that.
'cause I-
oh
We've been doing.
Well, I
this
want to be
since-
fair to the. I mean,
Been
yeah.
doing this for
but I
over
mean,
a
we
year.
can-
I don't,
Okay.
realistically.
So what if we move it out to the next meeting from the 18th to June 1st?
Well, the problem, as Sean was alluding to, is if you move it to June 1st and all of a sudden some substantial changes come on the 18th, then we end up moving it out again. So
Okay,
I'd
so
like
we
this
just-
suggestion.
Under
Put it
old
on hold.
business under old business.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Okay.
you folks, if you want to make changes, if you'd get it to us,
Okay.
we'll send it back out to the council. That way you're not having an illegal meeting. All right? And then you can decide what draft of that. And once you get to the point where you want it, then you can decide about sending out to a public hearing. But we don't
Does that
want to
work
do
for
that in
everybody?
advance.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Up next is the discussion on the plan unit development. Miss Karen is not here, so I'm going to assume it's.
There's nothing for us to
Okay.
add. I mean, it's a
Is there any further
for you folks
discussion?
to have as to what you might want to do with that.
Any further discussion?
I sent out, as it's on here, talking about the difference and why all of the things that I had suggested to add into the PUD are as important. And you guys said, we want to put them into a development agreement. The basic concept of a PUD is you have all of these things in it. You can't put something in a development agreement that's not listed. So the development agreement is the law, is the rule. Okay? Not the development agreement, excuse me, the PUD is the law, is the rule. The development agreement is the enforcing tool of that law. So if you do not have something in that development agreement, in that PUD, you cannot put it in to the development agreement because there's no point of reference to it in the PUD. So that their attorneys would say to you, this is circumstantial, and this is from a land use attorney that told me this. And
May I ask a question on that?
yes, sir.
So the Woodmont agreement, because I read the old PUD, and the old PUD is like barely it's very short. It's easy to consume quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That Woodmont PUD is vast, and so there's not a one-to-one tie between the Woodmont development agreement and the PUD. So that's where I'm wondering how.
Just because that's the way that one was set up doesn't mean it was set up correctly. And I hate to say that, but I believe it wasn't. If you take the time to look at the towns that I went to, like read Bedford's, read.
And I read through
Ports-
your comments in here.
Dover's got the best one. It's very detailed, it's very strong, and their development agreements as well are very strong. And if you go look at a couple of their large projects, they're really done well. And the town, the taxpayers benefited from it because they took the time. Without getting into a lot of details and throwing things under the bus, which I don't think is appropriate, the taxpayer could have benefited a lot more from Woodmont if things had been done correctly from the get-go. Granted, it was a new thing. People didn't know what they were doing. But is that what we really want to continue with, is something that could hurt potentially? Right now, that's an active ordinance. I know there's not a lot of 100-acre pieces out there, but they're out there. And to me, the newer agreement that we have needs some work. But to me, we need to take that old one that's really bad over here and replace it with the one that Kelly and the department did. And I think we need to continue to work on this one because that's the best thing for the taxpayer, in my mind. Because right now, we're leaving ourselves open with a not-so-good PUD. And at least if we have a better one, it's not so much exposure. Mm-hmm. And again, I know we don't have a lot, and there's not a lot of damage, but something of that size has catastrophic damage, just one. So that's my suggestion. I really think that, I felt like Jake was willing to sit and go through these things. And I think that we're so close that if we just
move if the new one forward with everyone getting a development agreement, and move that forward so that the old one's off the books, and continue to work on this. Maybe there's a small subcommittee with the planning department and the planning, couple people from the planning board, couple of counselors, and improve this. We'll be sitting in a very good spot. But right now, I'm very uncomfortable. We're exposed, and it's obvious, and it's nothing that I had said in any of these things was a violation of any of the RSA codes, and I double-checked that, and we did fall into line. So there is nothing illegal or risky. It's exactly what RSA 674.21 was written to allow. So in my mind, a strong PUD ordinance with a strong development agreement, and if we had them, impact fees, extraction fees, this protects the taxpayer and everybody, and they know exactly what's coming on. And so I think that we should really, really consider that, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
At this moment.
Any other discussion?
All right, well, I guess I'll make a motion to move this forward to the public hearing on May 18th.
I don't.
Second that.
Okay. So I have. Do we need a motion? Action.
Oh, we don't have to have an action.
Does-
It's just going to be acquired at the public
Yeah.
hearing. Okay.
So we don't need an action, but
Yeah.
all right. We're all in agreement?
Yeah, we're on agreement.
Okay.
Move.
It's already scheduled for May
Yeah.
18th.
Thank you. All right. Up next, review and discuss the proposed draft of the strategic plan. I'll start us off. I had a few things to suggest. What would the council think if we put it in phases? I had a resident say to me that it'd be easier to read if we had, like, say, phase one be maybe the first fiscal year, and phase two be the other 2 years, or we could do phase two and phase three being the second and third year. And I thought that made sense because when you look at the key performance indicators, if you're just looking at them, it's kind of hard to see. There's so many things going on. If we had it separated, we could say, okay, wow, we have a lot going on in year two. Maybe we should switch things around. I just wanted to know what the council thought of. That'd be easier to read.
I'll make a comment on that. I think
please.
that
Yeah. So like you know how Deb, like here, there's
You're just talking about a format design kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just I think like it's like there's so many things here. If we had it separated so that they knew like phase one, okay, this is going to be done by June of 27, and then phase two, or it could be 2 or 3 phases.
You're just talking like layout. You're not talking about rewriting them.
No, just layout.
Okay.
No,
No, you're
sorry,
not.
I
You're not
got
talking
confused.
about putting this in phases, implementing this in phases. You're talking about just the way it's written out.
I'm just asking the council how they would feel if we just organized it a little differently so it was easy to read. Like if we, so I'll give you an example of what the resident said to me is, say, we've got all these different pages of this, okay? So under government excellence, for example, there's about 11 things to do.
Yep.
If we said, okay, it says all of them are due at the end of 27, that'd be too many things to do in once, like just easier to lay out. You say, okay, I got 5 here, I got 4 here, and I got, a couple here, just for layout purposes. I just think it'd be easier to read. Throwing it out there as a suggestion. Don't have to decide tonight.
I'd like that idea just for readability and clarity. And I know going through large projects with lots of things and many KPIs, it's good to be able to visualize it in that manner so especially like you get to phase two and you're behind on 75% of phase one. Well, that kind of indicates phase two is probably going to have some issues going forward. And then you can redirect.
And I know that we put into the plan your suggestions, Deb. I know you had talked to, so that's in there. So that's good. And then
Where?
David asked to have like
A lot
the senior center involved.
into the
Oh,
heritage.
yeah.
So that
Gotcha.
was
She was very excited about
yeah,
that.
that was.
She
And you
said
got right
that
back.
she'd be speaking with Mr. Mulhall. I guess they meet.
Yeah.
And so she would be. She had ideas. She was all ready to tell me when they were going to have
Yeah.
their first meeting to figure this out.
And this is more of an open question. It says under the government excellence, under the 2027 KPIs, it says develop and implement mental health awareness programs for LPD and LFD. We were told they already have that. So why would we do that? I guess I'm just asking, like, if they're already doing that, why would we put that as a goal?
I think they can do better.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that, they have stuff in there, but I think if they both get on the same page.
So then I think we need to
improve
rewrite that or reword that, because that to me implies that they don't have anything right now.
So you want to say enhance?
I guess,
You
yeah.
want to
That's fine.
enhance that part of that mental health program.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because
Is
they
that what
both
you're
said,
saying, Dan?
how they already have a program, and
Okay.
I'm looking for feedback. As it
So my question.
Can you just tell
Are
me,
you
because
done?
I'm
No.
new here, what's the program?
No, it just says on the thing. It just says develop and implement mental health awareness program for
Right.
LPD and LFD.
Right.
And we were told by the
That's
by
in the
both that
budget
they already
that
have
starts on
that.
July 1.
What?
That's in the budget that starts on July 1.
Okay.
Because you
Oh,
don't
so
have,
it's
you
not
don't have
really
those
started.
programs.
Okay. I was told they already have a peer program where if something happens, they can call a peer and.
No, they don't.
We're getting nodding from our chief that we already have this in place.
Well, if you want to talk about and show me the certifications for those programs and all that, because I haven't seen that.
So we have a lieutenant who's assigned to our CISM program. He belongs to the Southern New Hampshire team as well. He is certified. We have, I think, 3 members of the PD, I believe. And there's a current proposal in place to broaden that as well. And I know, Dan, you just mentioned we can always do better. That's one of the things that Lieutenant McLean's been working on for us for quite some time. It is on my desk. I just haven't had a chance to get caught up on that. But this type of program, we've been doing these things for a while at the PD. But I can get a more detailed presentation to the town manager for you folks to clarify what you're asking up there.
I think it'd be important to have that presented to the town manager and have him review it and see what his thoughts are on
Yeah,
this.
I don't know. Was there a cost associated with that one that Ryan gave you?
The new one, yeah, he has a breakdown of it.
Yeah, so there is some monies tied to that. One of the things that we were looking to do with that also was not really have it come out of a budgetary thing. We were looking for ways within the police association, et cetera, to try to handle some of these things too. So that's been a work in progress for quite some time.
I would say, I guess, if there is a presentation, I'm not saying you're going to do a presentation, but if there's a presentation, I'd actually like it in front of the council if we're going to do one.
I agree.
Yeah, for that type of program, sure, absolutely. Easy enough.
Thank you.
I think it'd be good to have both fire and police
Okay.
on their programs.
I also wanted to get further updated on in the communications and civic trust and community engagement. It says 50% of boards and commissions meeting held with hybrids teams participating. I don't know, as one person on the council, I kind of like when the boards are together. I think it's on B2. So I don't know if that's something that
I think it's hard to get everybody together.
I don't think it's hard
It's
at all.
actually, I apologize, there's a clarity thing
Yeah.
there. That's meant for hybrid participation available to the public.
Okay.
Not the board members, so opening it up to allow remote contributions from the public. So
Okay.
that they could join in the Teams meeting and comment in an organized fashion, not like that. I know we all remember the first COVID meeting, not like that. Things have come a long way. That's what that means.
Okay.
Well, I mentioned that, Ron, because I remember the planning board and the town council joint meeting there was only you and I there, and then you left, and I was there to take the wrath of the planning board. So I remember that one.
I was there.
I don't want to be a one-person show. Does anybody else have anything to add? Or
Well, I mean, I
Please.
thought that the strategic plan on a whole was concise, smart, and it had accountability. It had an accountability focus, which I like. My only questions really are, as we progress through this, how will this be reported to the council? So quarterly, yearly, so how, as we move and take things off the key things, do you know what I'm saying? How is that going to be updated, or is it just going to be updated online as we satisfy certain things? You know what I'm saying? When would they be removed, and how would we?
So the status reports would be on a quarterly basis, and they get removed on an annual basis when an item has been, the objective has been accomplished, then you would remove that and move on to the next items.
So that would be put on the agenda and done at a meeting publicly?
Yeah, a lot of these are, they're the initial assessment and then the implementation, so they usually take more than just 1 year to finish anyway.
Yeah, I just didn't want to, keep it look, because it'd be nice to be able to see, oh my God, we accomplished this much, and it keeps a kind of like an excitement and an energy of moving forward that we're reaching accomplishments. You know what I mean? Hitting goals, getting there. Wow, we had 10, we got 9 out of the 10. Way to go. You know what I mean? Kind of encouragement for the next year. Or
That which
we
gets
didn't do
measured
much.
gets done.
Huh?
That which gets measured gets done.
Correct.
That which does not get measured generally does not get done.
Correct. But I'm just saying to keep it on track. And that's why I asked.
My
That was
point.
the only thing I didn't see, but I thought it was, like I said, very, very good. It shows accountability. It was kind of smart. It was very concise. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, that's my 2 cents, Ron.
No,
I'm
it's-
sorry I don't have a lot of questions.
No.
I think I had them last time. I don't
That's
have them
why.
this time.
That's why we've had this the next couple of meetings so we can get it perfect.
I don't have a lot of questions. I just want to echo that, this holds people accountable. It gets things done. We plan ahead. As you've noticed, the issue with the library, fire station, there's a lot of issues that we have not been planning for. And this helps us to do that. It's going to help us also, planning for our budget. So we can look long-term and say, you know what? That roof does need to be replaced in 2 years, and we need to plan on that. We need to budget for that. Right now, everything that we do is just kind of a knee-jerk reaction. It's like, okay, now we've got this, problem at the fire station, and we have to, get people out of there, and now we have to deal with that. This is all something that I feel could be avoided by long-term planning. And this is what strategic planning is all about. So,
Okay. Any other further input on the strategic plan for tonight?
I just want to be careful of, I agree with some kind of strategic plan. I just want to be careful of selling it as a panacea that's going to solve all our problems. It's going to help. It's going to help measure things and take a look and get ideas of the scope of what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, and get an overarching plan. I just want to I don't know that it significantly improves operations. That's all in the implementation aspect of it. And I think just, there's been times in the past where councils have sold us on bigger things that are going to do a whole bunch of stuff. The public gets it and they're sorely disappointed. And I just want to make sure that while it's a positive step, that doesn't mean it's going to solve everything.
well, I just want to, make a comment that last year when I got on the council, everybody's like, okay, we got to have our goals. Every council has a goal. Where did those goals go? Nowhere. I mean,
I would disagree with you, Dan, on
Yeah,
that.
mine went.
I would say that I'm going to push back on you because I feel like the utility committee did what we asked them to do.
All right.
They put forth a phase plan.
But
They got it from the town manager?
that's something that had been in the works, planned. It wasn't, this is my goal for this year.
But significant work by him
You know.
during the year to drive that across the
we
line.
talked about that.
And
Dan,
Sean,
for-
you say your big goal was traffic.
Yep.
Traffic. What have you done for traffic?
We got something on the ballot. We got it passed. We are looking at long-term solutions and different ways to look at things like permanent traffic counting devices and other things to gather data to find the problem intersections.
Well, I will
I
tell
don't
you
remember
that
what
I
your
have not
goals were,
seen
Dan,
I have
but-
not seen you at any of those meetings. So I don't know where your involvement is on these meetings.
Not
I'm just
sitting
going to
at
make that
traffic
comment.
safety committee. There's overarching bigger aspects than that.
Okay.
That's strategic plan. Good.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, please.
This is our time to make additions or subtractions?
Absolutely. We
So-
have 2 more meetings also, but yes.
Of course. So section C3, I'd like to add a KPI for a priority action item of create an economic development program and determine the necessary leadership structure to execute the plan with a key performance indicator of roadmap the economic development plan to include roles and responsibilities by June 30th, 2027.
Are you, just so I know, you're on objective 3?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Could you just repeat that for the record one more time?
It's the C3, enhance economic development opportunities and strengthen lenders' economic identity. A priority action item, create an economic development program and determine the necessary leadership structure to execute the plan with a key performance indicator, roadmap, the economic development plan to include roles and responsibilities by June 30th, 2027.
Anybody object to that?
It's on the board if you want to read it over again.
Okay.
Good with
Well, I like it, but the question in my mind is, when you say program, Ted, are you saying something that it's in-house? Are we going to
In-house.
form an economic development committee?
No committee. The
You're gonna
committee
hi-
has no
you're gonna
power
hire
and it has no
somebody-
money to spend anything to actually improve anything for the town or to even put together a plan for economic development.
So-
you can't have a committee on this. You need an actual staff. You need a paid person. You need the ability to spend resources if need be. You need actual hired staff who are experienced in this kind of area.
So you're talking about hiring new staff?
Potentially. But whether the in-house staff can have other responsibilities with that, that may be, but it's up to the town manager to determine where does that fit correctly with the staff that we have or with new staff that can also take on other responsibilities. But a committee does not have the power to be able to do what we need them to do to promote the town.
Then how do other towns do it? I mean, I know other towns do all their economic
We used to have an
development through
economic director
committees.
for about 10, 15 years until
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the first part of what you said,
we
Ted.
used to have an economic director for about 10, 15 years.
Yeah, Andre Garin.
Yes. And that position then, or salary for that position, went to other things within the town. We should have an economic development director for the size of our town and where we are located within the state, and to have better communications with the economic director of the state of New Hampshire as well. When we have a town planner that works on designs and everything else, we have a director of that department who's also working on plans for the town. We need someone who's focused solely on the economic development and marketing of the town.
Okay, so you wouldn't even consider using a committee or outsourcing?
No, because a committee is made up of townspeople who are not experienced in this type of work.
Well, technically, none of us are experienced in this type of work.
We are elected. We're not committee
Technically,
people.
the people on the planning board aren't experienced.
Most of those people are experienced within
I'm
some
saying
sort of
necessarily,
construction.
they're not necessarily.
Most of them have some sort of
I
construction
just think
background.
it's a discussion.
Okay.
How do other towns make it work? I'm thinking about the taxpayer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as just to get it going, it might be easier to do it at a more cost-effective way, to have a committee who's focused on how they're going to get there and what they want to see, do all of that ground legwork stuff, the strategic plan of it all, and then later, this way you can hire someone and you can say to them, this is what we're looking for because this is what people said. I don't know. It's a discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's great. I just wanted to understand what Ted was. Put it in there. I think that's good.
I'd like to know from our town manager
Sure.
if we have the staff to do this, or are we going to have to hire people?
I don't know what exactly the program is going to entail, so you'd have to figure out what the tasks are, and then you determine what the best way to solve those to achieve those tasks, whether it be contracting out or hiring your own staff to do that. That's how you would have to do that, but you have to figure out what the task items are first.
Thank you.
And Ted, I support what you want to do. My only concern is if we have to hire somebody, that's another expense on the town. That's my only concern, but I agree.
That may be, but if
Yeah.
they're driving business to come to the town, they're
That could be
drastically
beneficial.
offsetting their salary.
Mhm.
In a way, it's like a sales position.
So we could put it, what do you guys think?
I think it should be in there.
Okay.
But I think we as a council should discuss it because it's a whole new
Okay.
concept, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
It's a
that's just
quick
how
one.
I see it. It's worth a discussion. I do know there are companies out there that you can hire that, like Derry hires. They have an economic developer, but they had had a committee that figured out what they wanted, how they wanted to revitalize the downtown, how they wanted it. They gave it to the employee. It was the employee's job to do it. Then they hired a consultant. They get paid by what they bring, like a percentage of what they bring in, and that's how they're doing it. And their economic development does like all the events and all the things like. But I mean, that's them. I mean, we're us. So we got to figure out what it is. I mean, there's a whole web thing involved in it, how you want to present it on the website. And it all goes back to what is the vision of Londonderry? Who do we want to be? Do we want to be like a Derry? Do you want to be like a Hudson? Do you want to be like a Hollis? What do you want to look like? Because that's going to be what the economic developer's mission's going to be. It's not just bringing in. You want to bring in the right businesses, the right things. You know, personally, I'd like to see a Trader Joe's here. I think Rite Aid's perfect. Can I have the ability to go call Trader Joe's and say, we got this building that's about the same square footage as your one up in Bedford. Could you come down here? You could have access to Wyndham, Derry, Hudson, Litchfield. I don't know. I mean, that's really what happens. I mean, it's not rocket science. I don't know. It's a discussion.
Yeah.
I think it's a good addition. I think that was a good catch by Ted.
All right. So we'll add that in. All right.
Just before you add it in.
Yep.
Who's going to do what when it comes to this? So the things we've got in there, we've got people who are going to do certain tasks, certain functions by a certain time frame. So who's going to do what with this?
Well, that would fall into the town manager's tasks, I would assume.
Okay.
So you want him to be the economic developer?
Well, no, it's not
Well,
the same.
no, he needs to develop the plan and develop a position or a hiring of companies to do the things that we need to do.
So I'm going to need a little bit more guidance as to the direction that you want to go in terms of economic development. We're trying to get more industrial. We're trying to get more commercial. What are we trying to accomplish? What is the
Where?
task that we're trying to accomplish? And where? We focusing on different parts of the community? Because how I look at the task items for that, I'll have to craft that to do that, and then the resources that are needed to accomplish the task.
Do an inventory of the buildings too. What's
'Cause
available, what we can revitalize.
I'd
what
like
could
to
be
know
reused.
what exactly the tasks are going to be, and are we looking at hiring somebody and what's
So
that
I
gonna-
can
Well, that's why I
what's
left it a
that-
little
what's
vague
that
at the
gonna
time
look
being.
The
like?
good news is we have 2 more meetings to discuss this, so
Yeah.
we could just say we'll discuss it before the next meeting and bring it back.
That's fine.
And I'm just saying, but I do think that Ted's direction is important. I just am concerned about how we pay for it. That's all.
Yeah, how we pay for it, how do we get there?
Well, we can have a further conversation on that, but
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
So perhaps I should work with Councilor Coombs to flesh this out some more. That way you can have
We
a
fine with
more
that?
definitive discussion about
Fine.
the direction that
Agree
we're
with that,
going.
Dan?
What's that?
That makes sense?
Works for us.
It's fine.
Any other additions, subtractions, updates?
Well, there's 3 there.
Huh?
There's 3 listed that were sent
Yeah.
out to you. You've got G2 and 2 C3s.
Anything else?
Right now, we already know we're going to deal with one of the C3s, the one that was proposed by Councilor Coombs.
And I think the other one's conflicting, so.
Okay.
Which one's conflicting?
The second one.
G2?
No, the other one.
Right there.
Which one is?
So I think they're both kind of the same thing, is my point. Like,
Okay.
It's just two different directions,
Yeah.
basically.
So do you want to accept one of them? Any input from anyone?
So why can't we have an economic development commission?
I felt it wasn't necessary because it would have no power. You'd have no power, you'd have no authority to spend money, you'd have no real authority to talk to these companies, or carry really no weight with your name.
It takes filling and staffing a board. A lot of times it takes time. Sometimes they don't come to conclusions. Sometimes it's if you want to take a very slow approach or you want to kind of get it going, it's the cons of the other stuff is like cost, but there's an efficiency in when having someone have a dedicated job to doing it. And so, picking between the two, I tend to think like Ted's version of this gets us where do we want to be. The other ones, maybe we'll get there.
And it's kind of hard to hold a committee to KPIs.
Yeah.
So why don't we go back to our original plan? We'll have Councilor Combs talk to Mr. Mulholland and work out the details and bring it back to us in the next meeting. Does that work for you?
Concrete.
It's fine.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Whatever.
I like the commission idea because it doesn't cost money compared to the other one, which if we hire people, it's going to cost taxpayers more money, benefits and everything.
I would say, Ted, if you're willing to work with Mr. Mulholland,
Yes.
let's approach that and bring us at the next meeting.
Sounds good. We'll work on our calendars.
Yeah. Anything else to discuss on the strategic plan before we?
You've got G2 as well.
G2, okay. Approved document, G2, let's see. G2. Document, yeah. That could be aggressive, that goal.
Yeah, and I think this is something we already had discussed before as a council, and we ended up rejecting that idea then, and I just, with a lot of stuff in there, I don't know, that's my thought on it.
I just think if it stays in there, the date's got to change. I think the date's too soon. Input W.
Nope.
Okay. Any input?
Well, I mean, Ted mentioned last time that, looking at doing a recreation building, and making more for recreation. This kind of addresses some of that, I think.
It's the number one thing
On
the master plan questionings.
Mm-hmm. Evaluate and
that they
present 3
want.
priority locations for future recreation, so, I mean.
I'm just looking at the overall picture. If we're going to spend money, we need a
That
DPW
really
facility
shouldn't
first, right?
cost much.
So,
I mean,
but-
a lot of it can be done through volunteerism or different organizations. For example, you want to put in a pocket park somewhere in a neighborhood. You reach out to the people. It can be all done at a grassroots level. It doesn't have to be always through the town and have the town employees do it. They're there to help. We have great employees. Like Kirsten is wonderful at organizing and setting things up. And her time, this girl has got like a robot brain. She's like, this is it all the time. And like, once you get someone excited, other side people put all the data together and they feed it into Kirsten's robot brain and she spits out this beautiful thing and it's good to go and it's got the town approval and I think it should be working together, people working together, like that listening session that we had for the meeting house. Because of that session, there's now a group that's formed, Citizens for the Meeting House or something like that. And then, they came up with a name, they're going to get together. They're already thinking about where they're going to go, how they're going to fundraise. I mean, I've gotten more emails and phone calls with people, some of them I didn't even know, some of them I did know, who are very excited about moving this thing forward and raising money and saving this building. People get excited about outdoor space, like you saw with the skate park. People get excited about that. You know, I'm going to go back to 23 years ago when I came here and pitched the concert to the Commons to the council, and they didn't want to do it. Oh, it's going to take time. It's going to cost police. And look at it now. It's baby steps. You can't. You're not going to be a full blown. Little digestion, little bits at a time, and.
So I agree with you.
I'll take a note here. So all this kind of falls under the bullet point 1 on this of developing a 10-year improvement plan. So I feel like it's a redundant item of bullet number 1.
So what I was going to add to that is I think what you underlined is some good examples of things, Deb, that are getting done with community involvement. Like, we don't have the Reverend Morrison House in here. We don't have the skate park in here. We don't necessarily, just because it's not in here doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
But it all falls under the 10-year improvement plan.
Yeah, when you're trying to do large-scale strategic planning KPIs, you can't put every single detail in there. And just because something's not in there doesn't mean it's not good. And just, you know, it's just trying to get some focus around key high-level
I'm just saying
things.
that I believe that's considered recreation, and so therefore that is important. And you are painting with the ride brush, and that's why I was leaving it in there. That's why I was saying that. I understand what you're saying, Sean. I agree with you. You can't get into every little project, but that's part of it. This is the big picture, and then those are the little things. I understand. But I don't understand what you're saying as far as overlay, and maybe I'm just missing it.
So a lot of what you're mentioning here really is, I guess, what he's trying to say is a detailed level of what falls under the bullet number 1 here of assess parks, fields, courts, playgrounds, lights, and related recreation assets and develop a 10-year improvement plan. So
Right.
all of that kind of falls under the umbrella of a 10-year improvement plan.
But you just said you wanted to take that out.
No,
I
I'm
didn't
saying
say
we
that.
don't include that because it falls under the umbrella of a 10-year improvement plan.
But shouldn't it be stated that that's what the thing includes?
I think that gives us more flexibility, stated the other way. Again, these are high-level achievements that have KPIs attached to them, so the goal is to be able to achieve them, but it doesn't break down all the details, because this plan would be, 250 pages. And so it's just doing things at that. We're looking at a different level of scale and scope here.
I understand. I just think it should be listed. And I thought it was broadly listed, and that's what was important, so that people understood what things were in it, not just all the little details. Never mind.
So,
It doesn't
Deb,
matter. You guys.
what
whatever.
can we put together that would make everyone happy? 'Cause it seems like you guys are on the same page, but we're just missing a word or two.
Well, I think it's, like we said, it's already stated.
Okay.
That's why we're...
Okay.
Kirsten, can you bring that back up for a minute?
I just don't think I'm understanding.
I'll tell you, Ron, the one thing that I like about it is to
It's kind of like this is the back of the book, not the whole book.
I understand, but I don't.
evaluate and present 3 priority locations for future recreational.
It's already listed on here.
Where?
Yeah.
Where?
It's already on here. Already have it down here. Evaluate 3 potential future locations for recreational spaces by 6/30/2027.
Forget it.
Good?
Yeah, I'm off tonight, so.
No, that's good. All right, I got 4 on board.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
It's fine.
No, just
It's just
Dan.
a redundancy.
Okay.
That's all.
That's right there.
If you all agree, it's
no.
fine.
I make sure. Okay.
It's fine. I
Right.
just don't want to lose recreation or open space in anything.
We're not. We're just saying what is written here is a redundant of what they've already put into the plan.
All right, we're good.
Anything else to discuss? Okay. Anything else you want to discuss before we move on?
No.
All right. Thank you guys for your working together. That was. All right, up next, approval of consent items. I'll accept the motion to accept the consent items.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Sean, second from Ted. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative, 5-0. All right. Up next, we have liaison reports. Anything from today?
I had a good meeting with our group developing the new SAU building. Everything's moving forward. It'll be an exciting summer and into the winter next door, and with the expansion of our parking lot.
Excellent.
And as well, having better access to the recreational fields behind our building here with the new parking. So it'll be exciting going forward.
Any other liaison reports?
Well, I talked with Doug Cole for Recreation. A lot of exciting things. Him and I are working on a couple of things on a sidebar. And I went to the fishing derby, fishing game did on Sunday. Very well attended. They have 500 of those little trout fishies in there. The kids were going crazy. They were all catching like 12 to 13-inch fish, which was pretty impressive. So that was fun. And I did go to the listening session, which I think was very, very good. There were people there who really, really cared and really want to do something. And I think that it was exciting because they were all willing to work together, and hopefully we can get a consortium together of different organizations that all have the same mission so they could have a home. So I think that's great.
Excellent. You good? Well, it's good.
I will say I also went to the Musquash Trails, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. It was nice to see the trails nice and widely open, but some of the smaller bridges that are within there on the trails might need to be having some repairs. So maybe some talking with Trailways, and hopefully if there might be some Boy Scout troops out there looking for some Eagle Scout projects, making some repairs to those small bridges.
That did bring up a question I had. So we had done this in prior years. Do we do any kind of tick spraying? Someone had asked me about that from as far as the trails go, because they said ticks were particularly bad this year. We don't have any involvement with any of that? Okay.
We do it on the town common though, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And you don't want to spray. Tick tubes are the
Well,
best.
yeah, mitigation measures.
Yeah,
I mean,
tick tubes. That's what we do with the Y. Tick tubes.
Anything else? Town manager report.
I'm just going to go over the agenda. Obviously, quite a few changes. On May 18th, we're not having a public hearing on the ethics code, so that's been removed. We are having a public hearing on the PUD, and I suspect that'll take up some time. I spoke with the chairman today. We're not going to move forward on TC 105, use of legal counsel policy, so that is not moving forward at this time or at all. And then we have discussion and provide guidance to the town manager for the development of the FY 2028 budget, which is required by TC 901. So I'll be looking forward to that. If you need anything from us in regards to that, please let me know as soon as possible. And review and discuss the proposed draft strategic plan for refinement. Again, there'll be another opportunity to do that. And hopefully we have some things available for you for that, Councilor Coombs and I. And then moving on to June 1st, we had a public hearing scheduled for TC 105, use of legal counsel. Obviously, we're not moving forward on that. And then we have a presentation in the Child Passenger Safety Program, 25 years of community service. So that's a very positive thing. Receive a presentation from the Traffic Management Working Group regarding the strategy and plan to address traffic safety and traffic congestion in the community. Discuss and review, consider the relicensing of Murray's Auto Recycling located at 55 Hall Road. I have not received anything from S&S, so I don't know if they're going to be asking for relicensing on there, so we're waiting to find out on that. I've asked Codes to reach out to them. Those are the only two that we have. And then we have discuss and schedule public hearing for June 15th, 26 regarding the municipal code for departments, if that goes forward. And then discuss and schedule a public hearing for June 15th regarding a proposed revision of municipal code regarding boards, committees, and commissions, if that goes forward. And then set a public hearing for June 15th regarding the Water Special Assessment District, if we have all of the petition material in by then. And discuss and act upon options for the Perry House wood that's been in storage, as discussed at February 2nd, 2026 Town Council meeting. And then review and discussion of proposed draft strategic plan items for refinement. Again, we talked about that with a public hearing at least tentatively scheduled for the 15th. That's all I have.
Mr. Chair, why are we not proceeding with TC 105, use of legal counsel policy? I mean, our legal bills are outrageously high. So why? This is the first I hear that we're not moving forward with this.
The council put it on the table.
So can we make a motion to take it off the
So-
table to relook at it?
When
right
did
now-
we put this on the table? Was that when Sean tabled everything?
Yeah, everything, yeah, table.
Okay.
No, you can bring it back at any time.
Only if it's a motion from a member of the prevailing, so one of us three would have to make a motion to.
Only if
On
it's a
table.
motion to what?
Only
Because we were on the majority. When you table something, someone in the majority has to reconsider and then
So
pull
nobody
something
else
from the
can put it
table.
back?
Well, you'd have to have a majority of the vote, so either it wouldn't make any sense.
In other words, Deb, they're telling us there's no way that's gonna move forward.
Seems like it's damaging the town.
Yep.
Anything further?
The other thing I want to add is that you talked about S&S metals. S&S metals, I talked to him, and he said that by the end of this month, he should be done, and he's having an auction there in June. So he'll be out of there. So that's probably why we're not going to get it.
I'd like to ask the town manager something.
Sure.
Mr. Town Manager, can you explain to me, by tabling these things, how it affects the town and how our workings and how it may slow down things, please?
Tabling equals.
This is a public policy decision that the council gets to make if it chooses to do so or not. I mean, it's simple as
That wasn't my question. My question was, by tabling this, does it slow down anything at town hall in operations, or does it cause any issue by not doing it? That's all I'm asking.
It doesn't slow anything down at town hall, but obviously there are issues. That's why it's been proposed and been reviewed by legal counsel, because there are problems in the present way you do business. And we've recommended a different way to do business, and that's up to the council to decide whether it wants to do that or not. It obviously does not.
Okay,
So we
so
will not.
these kinds of problems, what kind of problems are they? I just need to understand what we're doing to the town right now, by doing it or not doing it.
In order for the council to do anything, it must act as a council. It's in your charter. It's in your rules that you have adopted.
Okay.
If you have councilors that act unilaterally and they expend public funds incur costs to the town, they don't have the authority to do that. So that's why this policy was written, to address that issue, to follow the charter and to follow the rules of procedure that the council approved, which mirrors the charter. So we don't have that going on. So we have expenditures that are occurring by individual councilors or one or two councilors that they don't have the authority to do.
Is that a violation of a law?
That's the charter.
And it's at the expense of the taxpayer.
That's why I think you guys should reconsider and not table this anymore and just address it and get it
Yep.
over with.
I would disagree with that assessment of it, but we tabled this. I'm not getting into a discussion about it.
Yeah.
All right. Further? All right.
It's not fair enough, but it's arrogant enough.
Good? All right. I will open public comment. Are you Christine?
Christine Perez, 5 Leslie Drive. I'm a little concerned about the statement made that only the 3 people who tabled this can bring it back. I do not believe that is the legal way. Might you know, Mr. Mulholland, if that's legal? Because I know at the State House, when we put something on the table, anybody can bring it back. Anybody who is a state rep can bring it back. So therefore, Counselor Dunn, would you ask Mr. Counselor Faber where he got that information? Because I do not believe that is true. And if we have 2 members of a 5-member council who have our lawyer on speed dial without the permission of the entire council, and we're getting bills that are like $25,000 and $30,000 a month, this needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. Have we accomplished anything this year? I would really like a list of things that this council has accomplished this year, because it appears to me that everything gets pushed down the road. So, Mr. Faber, what legal right
Address
did
the chair.
you say?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is it true that those only you three can take this off the table? Where did that come from? I don't think that's true. Is it true? Answer me. Is that true?
Christina, I will find an answer for you. I do not know the answer.
Okay, I would like an answer as soon as
I'll get you
possible.
the answer.
Because to state something, to put a noose around people's neck and a noose around the town, and having two of you have the lawyer on speed dial and costing me my tax money, I have an issue with that. You have kicked every single thing down the road for a year or for the last 10 months. To get an ethics policy through, to take 10 months is ridiculous. So maybe y'all can come up with a list of things you all have accomplished, not what Mr. Mulholland has accomplished.
Thank you.
Two of us don't have the lawyer on speed dial. It's a mischaracterization. Anyone in the council can access them.
Janet Hudaloff, 5 Stony Point Drive,
Good evening.
Londonderry. Hi there. I can answer your question about, it's a parliamentary procedure, Robert's Rules. When you table an item, there's been a vote. In order to get it back on the table, someone has to make a motion to bring it back, and then you have to vote again. Okay? You have to vote, the council has to vote again whether they're going to bring it back. That's the answer for Robert's Rules.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Maura. How are you tonight?
I am okay. How are you?
Good.
I don't like having a noose around my neck. But I do have a question. I know that Dennis asked earlier as to who made the decision to not implement the optional veterans tax credit, and I would actually like to know the answer to that because I did file a right to know request on that.
Richard asked that question, and we're going to get an update, and then we can share it.
Well, I feel like you should have. This is my, 5th or 6th time coming before this body and asking that question?
Yep.
Do you normally have people have to come 5 and 6 times to ask a question?
The update
We
should be
try
by next meeting.
We try not to. We'll have an update by next meeting.
And the other issue is that I called and went through the process to put an agenda item on for this meeting to talk about community-based block grants for ADUs. And I was told that I would have to have a meeting with the town manager to explain why we can't do that. And I would like to still have my agenda item brought forward because I prepared a presentation and I got presenters. I'd like to know of all the people in this room, who here has a disability? Just me. Who has a relative with a disability? Just me. Who's active in the disability community? Me. Who knows the law regarding disabled people? Me. And I also have an elderly parent aging in place in this town. So the reason I'm bringing it forward is because it's an important issue for members of that community, and we should be pursuing this, especially since the state law just changed. I do not like, as much as everyone seems to think it's okay to assume that everyone is an idiot, that's not always the case, and it's not appropriate. So I would like my item, I went through the proper process, reinstated for the agenda. That's all.
Thank you. Richard, how are you again tonight?
I'm back. Richard Blinsky, 89 Hall Road. So let's finish up a couple of things and a couple of new ones. CIP. Does the town have a definition of what qualifies for a CIP project?
I believe it's on the website, Richard. It's on the
Capital
website, I
improvement
believe.
projects.
For CIP?
Yes. Do we have a I haven't been able to find it, so it may
Okay.
be written down somewhere.
I will find that for you.
All right.
Yep.
That's one. 2. The $94,518 was spoken about here tonight that you guys are moving forward. Is that coming out of money that was already appropriated, or is that coming out of money that needs to be appropriated? And if so, it was voted to do it with nobody knowing where the appropriation was coming from. Because my concern is we got like a $325,000, I think it was $325,000 bill, estimate, whatever you want to call it, from the insurance company they're going to cover for the water damage over there that quite frankly should have never happened. They had a pipe break a year and a half ago and it wasn't fixed properly. The pipe was fixed properly, but they didn't winterize the system. They didn't put antifreeze in it. So we're cleaning up something over there that should have never happened. I brought it up when the pipe broke a year and a half ago. Of course, it was ignored, so nobody put antifreeze, hydronic antifreeze, or a circulator pump that goes on automatically in the system so it doesn't sit there stagnant and freeze. So we're cleaning up a mess that should have never happened. Okay? So, and the last one is these raises that are being given out, including the one for the tax collector. And this is nothing against the tax collector, the person. This is not sustainable. You ended up giving them $90,002, up from approximately $80,425.70. That's an 11.9% increase, plus they get their $5,000 stipend for being deputy clerk on top of that. When I look at the original contract, it was for $95,350, which is an 18.55% increase. Then you had all those ones for the $131,000. I've been asking where that money came from forever. And that was like a 15.8% average. And I got a whole list of other ones that was given to me tonight that somebody did the analysis on, beat me to it. And they're anywhere from like 8-9% up to into the 20s. How long do you think that can be sustained in a community that's an aging community?
It's not.
It can't be. So I'm not saying people aren't entitled to get raises. They have to be reasonable. They have to be what can be afforded by this town. I'm really getting tired coming here, bringing this up. Now we got this MRI report coming out in June. I'm sure that's going to be another fiasco, considering that's tied in with the Municipal Association. So you know what that's going to say. So we better take that with a grain of salt when that comes in. I'm going to say it plainly, somebody's got to get their head out of their ass and figure out what's going on here. All right? I'm tired of talking to people that are leaving this town because they can't afford to stay here. They're on fixed incomes, a lot of them. I think we all know this is an aging community, as I said earlier. It's not a joke. All right? These are unsubstantial. You can't sustain these. Where in the regular workforce do you get these type of numbers? Occasionally, somebody gets a promotion or something, and changing the name of a job just to make it look like a promotion so you can give a big raise is an end around. So you all got to work with the town manager, and the town manager got to work. This is not sustainable. The position of the tax collector is not even supposed to exist in its current form. Yes, by law, we have to have one. 12 years ago, it was supposed to be absorbed into the town clerk's office because they were doing that. But of course, that was another vote that the people voted for and approved that wasn't implemented.
15 seconds.
Okay. So somebody's got to come up with the answers, because these numbers, you just can't keep doing this. This town's going to be bankrupt at this rate, or at least maybe not bankrupt, but hurting. If you did your own finances this way, you'd be in trouble. But what the hell? We'll just hit up the taxpayer and put them in the poor farm.
Thank you, Richard. Anybody else in public comment? Good evening.
Marge Bedoy, 189 Litchfield Road. You might want to reconsider doing the Economic Development Committee or Commission, and whether it has power or not does not discount their value. If you take a look at the Utilities Committee and all that they have accomplished, they have no power. But look what they've done. I think that same thing can be done with economic development.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Tony DeFrancesco. I knew she was going to say that, so I let her go first. So I think that we should bring back, to Ted's point, Economic Development Director. You could do it as a combo problem, combo job, town planner, Economic Development Director, make it a combo thing. Doesn't cost you hardly anything compared to the line items that are already there. The real reason I came up today was I saw my name up on the slide that the Lees provided tonight, and it said DeFrancesco Construction. And on an annual basis and a biannual basis, I remind everybody that is not me. That is not my family. They are no relation. I have never met them. I don't know what else I can say, but it's not me. And there is no, it's just like we have a Smith in this town. We have more than one Smith in this town that everyone thought was related to a famous governor in the state of New Hampshire, and that's not true either. And so keep that in mind whenever you see that on News 9 and all over the place. It's not me. I've never been associated with them. I don't know who they are. I've never met them. But for sure, they are not relatives of mine either. I hope you learned from the library issue. To Dan's point, and he said it under his breath, I'll say it out loud, and I'll say it louder. That's what happens when you don't do periodic maintenance. It's very clear where the issue is. You can kick the can down the road on a lot of things, but when you kick the can on periodic maintenance, you're ending up costing yourself more money than less money. Penny wise, pound foolish. Deb, Trader Joe's. My goodness. Do you own stock in them? You say them constantly. Listen, here's how it works. An owner owns land. An owner hires a realtor. The realtor negotiates on behalf of the owner. The town doesn't get involved unless it's blighted and unless the town takes the land over. Now, if you think that the realtor hasn't made those phone calls, you're not paying attention, because that's how it works, because the realtor doesn't get paid until that space is full. So, yikes. The town can't get involved in that stuff. It's a very slippery slope. Be careful with that. Thanks for what you do. Have a good night.
Thank you, Tony. Anybody else have a comment? Good, sir. Absolutely.
I believe you're the only one left from the comments, correct?
Correct.
All right. So I've been waiting patiently to tell you this. I wanted to go home 2 hours ago. But the Londonderry Police Association, I was texting them throughout this meeting. They're going to make a $900 donation to be, I think it's a second from the top, whatever. So we'll take care of that tomorrow. We'll get a check out to them for that. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great way to end the meeting. Anybody else have a private comment?
Mr. Chair, I do.
Okay. Can you top that?
Not entirely, but I'd like to address the item again for the petition letters that were put forth to the voters back in March that citizen Paul Scudleric had put forth, and at the time I was the only one who had signed them, and I'd really like to, again, I believe he's reached out to all four of you to please sign these letters. I'd also like to ask Town Manager Mulholland, given your many years of municipal executive experience, have you encountered a similar situation by which a letter generated by the town council or similar body being sent to local state legislators in the governor's office did not have the signatures of all members of the governing body?
No, I've not experienced that. To the contrary, that the governing body has signed those because it's not a decision of the governing body, it's a decision of the legislative body. You're just simply transferring that from the town to that entity, whether it be the federal government or the state government. And there's an email out to that effect, which I forwarded out to all of you today.
All right.
So I would implore you all to please sign these letters that go off to our legislators.
All right.
If not, please respond to citizen Paul Scudleric upon why you
I did
are
respond.
employing not to sign them.
I did respond to Paul, just so you know, Ted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I also sat down with him for an hour and a half. So,
I responded as well.
anybody else with public comment? I will close public comment. All right. Up next, pursuant to RSA 91A:3 2B, I need to go into non-public session with a roll call vote.
I, Ted Combs.
Aye, Dan Bouchard.
I, Ron Dunn.
I, Sean Faber.
I, Deb Paul.
You actually need a second.
Oh,
Second.
Sorry.
I'll second it.
Sorry. All right. One more vote just for the record.
I, Ted Combs.
Aye, Dan Bouchard.
I, Ron Dunn.
I, Sean Faber.
I, Deb Paul.
Are we not returning?
Are we coming back? Okay.
Nothing else to do. Must have something else I don't know about.
We have to end the.